It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener at war.
I don't want a million excuses, I want one result.
If I have a purpose-built routine, then I can tailor it to what I need. The average person can walk a mile in 20 minutes. I do it 3 times a day. Anybody can do that.
Today, I'm talking about the 5 lessons I've learned from the military guys over the past 10 years. We've interviewed people from the SAS, the SBS, Green Beret, the Para Regiment, the Navy SEALs, and so many more. I've had that privilege over the last 10 years, and I've learned so much. But what's been so interesting over that time is how much you guys have learned as well. So I thought it'd be nice to round up some of the lessons, some of the clips that I've picked off where they've had a tremendous impact on my life. Now, this is not an exclusive list. There are so many things, and some of it's down to friendships and relationships that I now have with some of these people, and some of it is down to specific words that they said that impacted my life. And these are the 5 that I think you can apply to your life to have a massive impact. Some of these clips, I don't know if you guys have seen them before. Some of them might be stuff we've not shared before. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys. Today's video, as always, was powered by HUEL. And HUEL Black Edition has been my go-to. It's got 26 vitamins and minerals and 35 grams of protein with slow release carbs. I've been using this for the past 2 years, HUEL, but Black Edition is now available in the US. So if you want to find out more, go to the link in the description where you can grab a few bottles of HUEL and also exclusive offers with that link. So my experience with the military guys, all of them have similar lessons, and some of them have very, very specific lessons to the military regiments that they worked in and served in. And today I want to talk through where I picked up the biggest lessons of all. So here's my top 5. And in at 5 is one lesson that every single guy from the military taught me, and that is routine.
I've been on the same morning routine since 2003, 4. Pretty much the same thing. I wake up at the same time, go to the gym the same time, pretty much eat the same meals. I've been drinking that same protein shake for 14 years. Like it's my routine because I adopt it because it works. And I structure my day around it. So and that's what people talk about, is if my day were to shift, my routine were to shift. If I were to adopt graveyard shift, and now my mornings are really at night, my whole routine would shift to adopt that. When we go overseas, it's the same thing. Everything just shifts because it's not manageable. I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. if I'm not going to work until 2:30. That doesn't make any sense. I shift my entire day so I can get my full benefit. And a lot of that is because guys, especially, are sacrificial in nature. You're never going to take time for yourself. Never. You can't take a vacation. You can't go to a men's retreat. You can't do this. You can't do that because you got to provide, you got to raise kids, you got to be a good husband, you got to do this, you got to do all the other things. And before you know it, you've let yourself go. It's been 10 years. You can't draw me a diagram to the inside of your local gym. You don't golf anymore. You don't play pickup basketball with your buddies. You don't do anything. You don't have time. You don't make the time. Like, before you do that, you'll be on the wrong side of 50 and it's over for you. Like, I don't want that for anybody. You're just trying to optimize your morning routine to give you the most bandwidth so when you do get home, now I can be a full-time dad. I can be a full-time husband because I'm not trying to compartmentalize or trying to juggle all these things at simultaneous times. If I have a purpose-built routine, then I can tailor it to what I need. I don't have time to do full fitness. What am I doing? 20-minute walk in the morning fasted. I'll wake up an extra 10 minutes early and I knock out a walk before I go to work. Easy. The average person can walk a mile in 20 minutes. I do it 3 times a day. 3 miles a day, 20 miles a week. Anybody can do that.
So I know so many of you are aware that routine is an important thing, but I want to talk about how specifically it changed my life. Now, so many of us see people like Jocko Willink talking about him getting up at 4 a.m. And a lot of people reach for, I'm going to do Jocko Willink's routine. I'm going to do David Goggins' routine or Billy Billingham's routine. In reality, the thing that everybody gets wrong with routine when looking at these guys is they copy the routine. Routines are very specific to the military that they are serving in at the time. Routines are very specific to the person that is doing them. And after service, when these guys are back in civilian life, the routine does not follow along from what they used to do. Mostly, they take bits and pieces of those routines and implement them into their civilian life. But I have noticed that with these guys, the lesson that they picked up is that routine is important and it's specific to what you are doing, the tasks, the missions that you have. So for your life, the most important thing is creating a routine that works for your mission. And your mission is made up of the things that you want to achieve and the personal life and the person that you are. Because if you do not serve those things, the person that you are in your personal life and the things that you find are priorities, then you cannot achieve the mission because you'll be in a terrible state to do so. So when people see Jocko and they're like, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. too, yet you are up late because of your job, or you're up late because you have to put your children to bed late, or whatever it is, it doesn't work for you. The reason that Jocko has spoken about getting up at 4 a.m. is because he wants to get up at 4 a.m., do his workout, have time for himself, set out his day, and then he gets to see his children before they go to school or before they go off on their day. So the routine is very specific to him, and it might not be applicable to you. You might be really good at getting up in the morning and be a morning person, and that might make you extra productive. There are some people out there that work later into the night, and that makes them more productive, which means that both of those things can be a better choice for you to achieve your goal. I have found over the years that early morning rising is a very strong mental tool. So I implement that into my life. And I think it is a very strong mental tool for most people. Late night working does work for some people. I actually use it quite often. But at the same time, to set a routine, early morning rising is also great. So how do you set a routine? Where should we start with setting a routine? The most important thing that I have seen for setting a routine is the time that you go to bed. And so many people are like, I'm going to wake up at this time and that's going to start my routine. The most important thing is when you go to bed. Because if you go to bed early, you can rise early. If you go to bed late, you're going to struggle with getting up early. Now, it is still possible, but most of the guys that I've spoken to, they don't go to bed at 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. They go to bed 6 to 8 hours prior to waking up. Makes sense, right? So set your bedtime routine as your first priority. Then you need a morning routine, a priming routine. All of these guys do it and they call it different things, but you need a priming routine. And that can be a cold shower, which is what I do, cold shower, cold bath. It can be coffee, morning routine in terms of breakfast. It can be usually exercise. And then the other thing is what you are ingesting as information. So these are the few things that I implement in my day-to-day life now consistently because of these guys. So I get up, I have a cold shower that wakes me up. Then I prime myself in the mirror with positive self-talk. That's something that I do personally. Then I have a coffee, I have breakfast, and I consume a certain type of media or content that is in line with my goal for the future. And then I'll exercise. And those things together, for me, create the perfect daily routine. The rest of the day sets itself up. So routine is one of the cornerstones of anybody who has been in and around the military and their day-to-day lives. And I think it's something we can all learn from and implement in our lives. Number 4, this kind of links on to the past one, but be prepared always. Being prepared and being ready to go at all times is one of the most important things now for me as I live my day-to-day life. Life is going to throw you curveballs all the time. Being mentally and physically prepared for that is so important. And I think people don't understand what that means. So a lot of the guys who train consistently after they've been in the military, when they're back in civilian life, they still physically train, they still mentally train, they still do all these things, and they're prepared at all times. When they're serving, They're always ready to go, no matter what. And that is something I think in normal day-to-day life, we miss and we forget. And it's easy to let go sometimes. It's easy to relax. You know, it's easy to be blindsided by the holidays and chill out. And it's not to say that you can't find space and time for yourself, but being ready to go if needed to be called upon to do something and to, you know, help out in business or your family or relationships, that is crucial. And when you are fully switched off, when you fall off your exercise routine, when you start to come down off the standard that you've set for yourself, you're not ready to go. And you can really create issues in your life when something bad happens. So for me, having a basis of being always ready to go means that I'm always physically fit. I'm always physically strong. I'm always in my daily routine. And mentally, I'm always prepared for difficult situations because I do difficult things. Exercise, ice baths, you know, doing calls and anxiety-ridden things every single day, because overcoming difficulties is what prepares you for when difficulties and inevitably life's curveballs are thrown at you, means you're prepared. So being always ready is one of the most important things. Here's one of my favorite ones. I learned this from Tulam. I've heard this since speaking to Tulam, Ronin Tactics, about this. I've heard it from Master Shang Yi. I've heard it from a lot of the military guys, but Tulam was the person who taught me this first. And that is to be empathetic, to be soft, to be kind, to be nice, but to be strong, to be powerful, to be able to inflict pain and to be able to attack as well.
You know, there's an old Chinese story of a master and a student. The master walks the student through this garden. It's a beautiful garden, you know. And the student looks at the master. As the master says, "What a beautiful morning," to the student. "What a beautiful morning." And the student looks at him puzzled and say, "Master, you talk about beauty, and you talk about being kind and compassionate, but yet you teach us all the ways of violence." The master smiles at the student and he kneels down and he plucks this beautiful flower. And he reminds the student that it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener at war. So it's just that, you know, in my experience in the special forces, it's always the innocent. It's always the innocent. Always the innocent that gets oppressed, to get enslaved. It's always the innocent that die. Always the innocent. See, because you're untrained. You're a gardener in war. You have no skills. It's better to be trained and not use it, right, than to be in war or in conflict and not even be trained. Can you imagine? Your family put down on their knees and you have no ability to stop. How you reconcile the two is, if you wish the world to be a peaceful place, and you really want this world to be a peaceful place, then you need to be extremely dangerous. You have to be extremely dangerous. But you live with a code, a set of morals, values like samurai, like Spartan, like the knights, you know, and it's all written in history. So how do I reconcile the two? I understand what it takes to be in peace. And I know what it takes to maintain peace. And that comes with a unique skill set, a dedication to life, purpose. So that's how I reconcile the two.
To be kind and empathetic and nice is very, very important. I think it is one of the most crucial things in life, to be kind. To do it under the ability of also the capability of inflicting pain and being powerful, it offers more to the kindness. And I don't know if that resonates with everybody. I think some people think that's quite a terrible way of thinking. But in my understanding and from my experience of speaking to, from church pastors to military guys to Master Shahang Yi, the reason it's so powerful is because you have a choice. When you are able to be powerful and create a difficult situation for somebody, but you choose kindness, you are making a choice to be kind. And it resonates more. It's more important. It's more of a powerful message. But then also, because you have this ability to be strong, to be a strong person, to be a strong character as well, you're able to impact more people with kindness. And when you are the receiver, the recipient of kindness from somebody who is powerful and who is strong, you feel it deeper. And I really genuinely believe that through experience. I believe that, but I also believe it through giving it out in that way as well. And there is no expectation in the giving of somebody who is strong, real strong. That doesn't mean egotistical and like a maniac, like a megalomaniac with that. What strong means is that they are strong within themselves, that when they give, they have no expectation of receiving a thank you. They give because they want to give. They give because they want to help you. They give because the reward is in knowing that they might have helped you somewhat. Giving with expectation is giving from a place of weakness. It's giving from no place of strength, no place of true power. It's maybe giving from a place of what you think to be strength. But true strength, true power is a confidence and understanding that I am here to give because I want to help, and I truly want to help. And in wanting to help, all I need to know is that I tried to give to help. It does not matter if the other person didn't thank you or say, you're amazing, or, you got high praise, because all you wanted to do was give with the understanding that you helped. And I hope that makes sense. You need to be in a position where you're strong-minded to be really, truly capable of giving without expectation. So being humble, but being able to do that in such a strong way is the ultimate combination. And the strongest of leaders and the strongest of the military people that we've spoken to have this. Tu Lam is a perfect example of that. Sorry for interrupting this video, but I want to say a massive shout out to our sponsors, HUEL. As you guys know, I've been using these for the last 2 years. If you're anything like me, you're going to struggle at times to get protein in. You're going to struggle to get your vitamins and minerals. And that's why I choose Black Edition all the time. It's got 26 vitamins and minerals. It's got 35 grams of protein, slow release carbs. And I know that I can grab this and get on with my day. Don't just take my word for it as well. I just want to shout out the hardest geezer who just ran the length of Africa. And he was just glugging these things as he went along. So it has everything that your body needs, whether you're trying to smash records and world records and that kind of stuff, or you're just trying to save some time, but also stay healthy. This stuff is fantastic. So head to the link in the description where you can find out more. Thank you to HUEL for sponsoring the podcast. I absolutely love this stuff and I'll keep pushing them. Go to the link in the description. Number 2 and number 1 were hard to decipher of which are more important. But number 2, I think everybody should live by. Honor your word. When you say something and you do not follow through with it, the damage that does for your reputation is unbelievable. You cannot, as much as you can try and convince somebody that you're not going to do that again, that you're not going to go back on your word, that, next time will be different. It's very hard to convince somebody. As humans, we take in the information that we have around us, and action and what we have seen people to do really is the strongest piece of information that we have. And you can be one of the most persuasive people in the world, but if you have destroyed somebody's trust with action, then it's very difficult to get back from that. Honoring your word doesn't just mean for other people. The promises you make to other people are extremely important to honor. But the promises that you make for yourself are even more important. You set a tone when you set a goal and you don't follow through with it. If you say, from now on, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to work hard. I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to do a morning routine. I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to be better for myself. You tell your mind and your body that that is what you're going to do. But then you don't do it. After a week, you give up. After a week, you quit. After a week, you fall victim to resistance that is difficulty. You are training your mind and you're training your body to constantly do that. You are training your mind that you are not capable of achieving things that you set yourself to do. That is so detrimental. Compounded over time, you start to become a loser. And I don't mean that in a horrible way, but you are changing the brain chemistry for setting goals. When you set goals and you achieve them, it doesn't matter if it takes 3 years longer than you said it was going to take. But when you start to do that and you achieve those goals, you're telling your body that when I set something to my mind to achieve, I can achieve it. I can do it. When you don't do it, it's very detrimental. So keep your promise to yourself and keep your promise to others. Again, when you're keeping a promise to others, yes, you're honoring your internal system. You know, you're telling your internal system that when you say something, you're going to do it. But what you're also honoring is those people. And that is super important. You cannot be a leader. You cannot have people around you who are going to support you, which inevitably is the most important thing. I've never met somebody in the military or the special forces or anything who has said they can do it all alone. Never. And it's the same for life. You know, self-made is a fallacy. It's not a real thing. At the very least, you're standing on the giants who came before you, who set the industries that you came through. But to be truly successful in life, you need a team, you need people around you. And if you break promises, you'll never, ever have that. And number one, the most important thing is to take accountability. By far, after speaking to everybody, you know, over the last 10 years, situations that they had caused or been involved in, even some things that we would call freak accidents, they take ultimate accountability for them.
You get a million excuses. I don't want a million excuses. I want one result. Keep your fucking excuses to yourself and just produce the results, because excuses don't make results. And I see it all the time. I always see with the big guys who are struggling. All of a sudden, oh, my trousers are too tight. My boots are not Nike. You're like, shut the fuck up. Stop blaming. Stop blaming. That's the problem with excuses. People, and they don't blame themselves. They don't go, this is too hard for me, which is the truth. They blame their kit, somebody else, you because you're shouting at them. Nonsense. Stop the excuses. Okay, results are what matter. And that result is not the fact that you've now broke a world record. The fact is you've gone a little bit, you've stepped over the start line. There's the result. That's the result. And that's what I'm talking about. And we can all do that.
The reason that ultimate accountability is so important in an overall picture for me is you are taking ownership of your life. If you start to say that outside forces and other people are the reason for your demise or the reason that things happened, you are letting go of control and you are putting yourself in a very difficult situation to succeed and to overcome those situations in the future. Ultimate accountability means that you are able to take control after the fact. Ultimate accountability means that you can learn from the process. The moment that you blame somebody else, the moment that you say it wasn't your fault, is the end to the learning process. You are saying that beyond this point, it had nothing to do with me and it was only this other person's fault. And that is a very difficult lesson to take. And I'm not going to speak personally to my own ultimate accountability because I think you guys wouldn't get it. And that's tough. Or some people wouldn't get it. But obviously everyone knows what I've been through. With that, there is ultimate accountability. And some people, this is actually a lesson that I learned from Stoicism as well, but when you take the death of somebody in your family, this is going to sound so sadistic and so twisted, but it gave me a platform to be able to work from. When you lose somebody, and you say, that wasn't my fault. I didn't know that this was going to happen. You know, it was illness, it was sickness. When I took accountability and said, well, you know, I'm invested in my relationship with that person, and that's why it hurts me so much. That is why I am hurt so much that I lost this person. Some people might go, that's ridiculous, that's disgusting. But I want to caveat that with this. If some person on the other side of planet Earth died from an illness, you don't feel sadness. You're not hurt by it. And it is the element of our relationship that makes it really sad. Now, it's not to say that it isn't sad. It's not to say that it isn't really difficult. But for me to have some responsibility of that made me understand that I am able to control my life. I am able to understand that actually everything that we have in our life is somewhat in control. The moment you allow control to leave your hands of your life and you let go, in my opinion, and it's not to grasp onto life, but in my opinion, is the moment you can demise into, I have no control. I'm incapable of having control, and everything is just happening to me. And that's scary. That is a very scary place to be. And I'm not saying this for everybody to take ultimate control of things like that. You know, death, illness, and those kind of things. Life is cruel, and that thing, you know, those things will happen to people at times. And when those things happen, you know, have some empathy for yourself. It is extremely difficult to go through, and you're not there to take accountability straight away and to understand that straight away. But for me, it helped. And I'm talking personally, for me, it really did help. And accountability, that's a massive way of taking accountability, and not everybody has to do that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, you know, when somebody says, well, I got fired from my job because my old boss was like this and he hated me and da-da-da. You know, to me, when you start to shut down on that and you take no accountability, or this person hates me because they said this, but it's a lie and I'm not like that. Find the truth somewhere in that so you can be better for yourself. That's what I always do. And it's what these guys always do. They will never, ever say, and I'm on about every situation. That's why I'm talking about ultimate accountability. Ultimate accountability is when some of these guys are having, you know, they've been shot at, they're being hit by explosive devices, and they're talking about accountability. Well, you know, that day I didn't execute right on my plan. That day, we were clearing out a space and I missed this on the checklist. I've heard that from all of them. I've heard that from every single one of them. And I think that is a massive trait to have to be better in every aspect of your life. And that's why taking accountability and ultimate accountability is number one on the list. Thank you to everybody who's watched this video. If you want more exclusive content and behind the scenes of how we film these documentaries that we've been doing, there is exclusive videos for members. Thank you to the members who have been watching the videos recently. Thank you so much. It's been nice to get the feedback. It's nice to show you guys the behind the scenes vlogs with all the guests of the show and DJ and Jason and, you know, filming with cowboys and all this kind of stuff. Obviously, those vlogs and the behind the scenes vlogs are available for channel members. So I hope you're enjoying the videos. Thank you for watching. And yeah, today's video, as always, was powered by HUEL. HUEL have been sponsoring the podcast now for this year, and I've been using them for the past 2 years. And the reason that I have been using HUEL Black Edition specifically so much is because of my physical training has been very, very difficult. So to know that I've got 35 grams of protein, 26 vitamins and minerals, and slow release carbs throughout the day at the grab of a bottle has been a game changer. Don't just take my word for it though. If you know of the legend that is the hardest geezer, Russ, he ran the length of Africa and he was just drinking HUEL and doing the HUEL meals. And there's a reason why he chose that, because it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a blessed and productive day. And if you want to find out more about HUEL, head to the link in the description. I'll see you in the next one.